Okay guys, so today we will make AI waifu VTuber like this. First, I will run the code and the code will tell me to choose whether I use microphone or YouTube live stream chat. For now, let's we choose number 1 and then I will press and hold right shift to record audio from my mic. Okay, what is your name?
Tina です。
Tell me good place in Japan.
東京です。
Why you recommend that place?
伝統的な文化と近代的な文化が融合したユニークな大都市として賑わいを見せています。
Okay, for the code I already post it on my GitHub repository. You can check it on the description link. And in this video I will try to explain how to use this code and I will explain the code. So if you already clone the code, you will see there are run.py. So first you need to install all the library that will be used in this code, and beside of this you will also need to install VoiceVox Engine, and you will need API key from OpenAI and DeepL. The DeepL is optional. You can also use Google Translate, and of course you will need to install virtual cable. What is this for? I will explain it later. Let's way back to the code. So in this code you will need, like what I said before, you will need API key from OpenAI. You can get it from the OpenAI website, and I save my API key on config.py. And then you will need lore.txt, where inside this txt you will save the lore of your AI. So for example, I write in here, so I make the lore for my assistant. You are an AI waifu virtual YouTuber called Pina. Your creator is Arda. He met you using blah 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 blah. You reply with brief to the point answer with no elaboration. And then the code will run from this section, main section. So you will need to input either 1 or 2. 1 if you want to use your microphone, and 2 if you want to get the AI to answer a live chat live stream from YouTube. So for example, we choose 1. If we choose 1, you need to hold right shift on your keyboard to make the program record your audio, and then the program will call the record audio. On the record audio, it will record your audio while you hold your right shift, and then it will save it in input.wav. After that, the input.wav will go to transcribe_audio function. In this function, it will transcribe the audio into text using Whisper AI. So for example, you say how are you, and then this function will transcribe the audio from your microphone into text. Now after it translated into text, so in here I translate the input from user from Indonesia to English. Why I translate it to English? Because it will be more easier for the translator if we translate EN to GP compared with ID to GP. But if you are English speaker, you don't need to use this code or this function, and then it will save the conversation into variable conversation. This variable conversation will make your AI have a short-term memory, so it will be more human or be more contextual. And then after that, code will call OpenAI answer. In OpenAI answer, first we will get the total number of character inside the conversation. Why we get the total character? Because OpenAI only can receive input in 4K character, I think 4K something. If the total character is more than 4000, it will remove the second dictionary from the list. So it will make sure the conversation is not more than 4,000. After that, the conversation will get into message and get answer from OpenAI using GPT 3.5 Turbo, and then the response will also append to conversation, and then the message that we get from the response from OpenAI, we will send it to translate text function. So in this function we will translate because the answer is in English. I translate it to Indonesia and then I print it. I also translate it from, it must be EN, I forgot to change it. So the text that we get is in English. I translate it into Indonesia, so I know what is the answer in Indonesia, and then I also translate it to Japanese, where the Japanese text, it will be used to convert the string into an audio in Japanese, and then we will send the result GP and result ID into speed_text. So in this function we will call katakana converter, where this function will translate English word into katakana. For example, if there are orange word in English, it will be translated to orangey, because if it write as orange, your AI will spell orange as ORANGE, not orangey. So we will need to convert it into katakana, and the katakana converter is on katakana.py. And also for the translate, there are in the translate function is on translate.py. You can either use Google Translate or DeepL. If you want to use DeepL, you can use this function, and if you want to use Google Translate, you can use this function. And here I use DeepLX. DeepLX is free and open source DeepL API, and I use DeepLX because I don't have authentication key from DeepL Pro, because DeepL Pro is not available in my country. If you want to use DeepL, you can make the function in here. And then after you convert it into katakana, you will need to make requests to VoiceVox. Don't forget to run VoiceVox Engine first before you running the script. To run the VoiceVox Engine, you can use Docker. Okay, you can use Docker. You can run it on CPU or GPU. If you want to run it on GPU, you can run these two line of code, this, and don't forget to install, of course, to install the Docker. And after you run the VoiceVox Engine, you can request where the text is katakana text, and the speaker is, I choose this 46. So where you know it's 46, you can try the audio that available in VoiceVox in here. You can listen to the example of all the voice actor in this website or in this VoiceVox website. You can try and listen one by one. If you get the interesting voice, you can go to speaker.json in here, and you can find the ID number of the speaker in here. For example, this is the name of this speaker is, I don't know how to read it, but this one. So she have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 of voice variation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can choose one of the 6 variation of her voice in here. If you want to use this variation, you can choose 37 in the speaker section in here. So after we request it, we will get the content of the request. We will receive the audio and write it in output.wav, and then after that we will write on output.txt. We will write the result ID on output.txt. This will be used to display the subtitle on OBS. So result ID is in here. The answer from the OpenAI will be translated into Indonesia and then saved into result ID, and then it will be saved in output.txt. After it saved in output.txt, it will be appear in, wait a minute, in this. I use the output.txt in here, so the output.txt will appear on the OBS display in here. You will see it later. And then we will also save the chat.txt with which we get it from the chat now variable. The chat.txt will save what the user say or what the live chat say and save it into txt file. The txt file will we use inside this section in OBS chat.txt, and then it will appear on upper side of the OBS display. We will use time slip, so txt will be already written in txt format, and then we will play the sound. We'll play the sound that already in output.wav. We set the is speaking is true when it play, and we set is speaking is false when it already play, finish play. The is speaking is used to prevent the assistant speaking more than one audio at a time. And then after the assistant is finished to play the sound or to say the audio, we use time slip 1 second, and then we delete the inside of output.txt and chat.txt. So it like the subtitle appear when the assistant is playing the audio or saying the answer, and then after 1 second it's finished to say the answer, the subtitle will be gone. That if you choose the mode 1. If you choose the mode 2, it will run the preparation using thread and also run the get live chat function in the same time. So the get live chat will get live chat from YouTube, get live chat from YouTube, blah 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 blah. In here, if the chat author is the owner or the chatter is Nightbot, it will pass it or continue the code. If you want to include the chat from the owner, you can delete this. And then we use this resub to remove emoji from the chat, because sometimes in live chat there are emoji that will be like this. So I use this to ignore the emoji text like this. And then if the chat length is more than 5, I will save it into conversation. And I also save the author name. Berkata is said. The author name said blah 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 blah. And I save it on the conversation. Why I save the author name? Because it will make your AI know who is talking right now, and your AI will be answering to this username. I think you know what I mean. It will run the preparation also. So in the preparation, if the assistant is not speaking and the chat is not empty and the chat is not a comment and the chat is not the same as the previous chat, the assistant will answer the chat. So I use this. If the assistant is not speaking and the conversation length is more than 1 and it's not start with exclamation mark, because sometimes another streamer use exclamation mark as bot, you know, something like duel or something like that. So the exclamation mark, I use it on the if condition. And if the chat now is not the same as chat previous, it will call OpenAI answer, and then it will be same as the mode 1. Okay, it's all for the explanation. Now let's run the code. For run the code first, like what I said, you need to run the VoiceVox Engine. So because I already pull the VoiceVox Engine, I just need to run it. OpenCMD, I run this, but I face an issue when I run this program. I need to delete this, so it will be just the port. Enter. Okay, it's running, and we see on the Docker, the VoiceVox Engine status is running. You can click it on this link. It will open a new tab on your browser. Okay, it's not running. Okay, it's already running. Now we refresh it. Nah, after this, if you want to see the docs of this API, you can type /docs. If you're familiar with API, you can try to use this API. And then after the VoiceVox is running, we can run our code. You can use CMD or terminal from Visual Studio Code. For now, I will use terminal from Visual Studio Code. Python run.py. Okay, my laptop is a little bit laggy because I open so much application. So the program will need you to input 1 or 2, mode 1 or mode 2. Now we try mode 1. Okay, hold right shift to record audio. We try. Hello, how are you? Okay. The bot is answering. It's generating the audio. It will be need a time.
私は仮想エンティであり、感情を経験していません。
So it will be like that. It's need a little bit time because I open so much application inside my laptop. I forget. Let's back at mode 1. Give me suggestion what I must visit in Japan.
東京タワーを訪れてください。
Okay, so the bot will have a short term of memory. We can just say why instead of why I must go to Tokyo Tower. So I will just say why. The bot have a short term memory, so it's know what the meaning of why.
東京で人気のあるランドマークであり、街の素晴らしい景色を眺めることができます。
We can use the output from the code and use it inside of VtubeStudio. So you see the VtubeStudio is respond my mic as an input. So to use the code, the audio from the code as an input for this avatar, for this Pina avatar. Okay, my avatar from VtubeStudio. You can go to settings, and then you find the where is it? Mode open. You find the mode open and then change the input into voice volume. After you change it into voice volume, and then you need to change the microphone. Change the microphone and select the VB audio virtual cable. VB audio virtual cable. So it will use VB audio virtual cable or cable output as the microphone, and then change your desktop audio into VB audio virtual cable, also the cable input. Okay, you can install it. You can find the tutorial in YouTube how to install this. I will not explain how to install this on this video. So the logic is the code will play the audio inside the VB audio virtual cable, and the VB audio virtual cable will be an input inside the VtubeStudio, and then it will move the mouth of my character. So we try it. Like for example, I say in this code, do you have any suggestion beside Tokyo Tower. And then we see the VtubeStudio.
近くの GOJOJI 寺院をご覧ください。
It will be like that. And you use game capture to capture your VtubeStudio inside OBS. And then, like what I said before, you insert text like this. Question is from chatgpt and answer is from output.txt. The setting I use is like this, and then the setting of the transform for the answer is like this, and for the question is like this. Okay, we try it once again. Do you have any suggestion of food in Japan? We see on OBS. It will make the subtitle.
寿司、ラーメン、天ぷらをお試しください。
The subtitle will be like this. Okay, that's all for the mode 1. So for the mode 2, and select mode 2, you will need to input live stream ID. So for the test, we can find another streamer that live on this time. We can go to YouTube live. Okay, for example, I use this one. Copy the link address, we paste it in Notepad, and we just want to use this. Okay, I paste it here, and it will capture the live stream chat and answer it, and automatically answer it using OpenAI. Okay, we just need to see our OBS.
わかった。
Okay, for the subtitle, I don't get the best result on editing the subtitle because it sometimes the subtitle is bigger, sometimes smaller. I still finding the best setting for the subtitle. Okay, it's a little bit
として
laggy.
私は個人的な意見を持っていません。しかし、一般的に言えば、場所に関係なくタスクを完了することが重要です。
Okay, it will be the face how it will respond.
わかった。
It will be what? It's depend on the specification of your computer or laptop. Okay, that's all for the explanation how to make your own AI waifu virtual YouTuber. Thank you for watching and goodbye.